Northwestern comes back from Chicago State and wins this one 56-46. Now, DePaul is not the best team in the world, not a great team, but they were able to come back and they were able to. They didn't even put up 60, but they played good, solid defense. Was able to make some things happen. Russ, what were some of your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think they're 215th in KenPom is DePaul. So yeah. You don't want to see a 10-point win against a team like that. You want to see a 30-point win, but a win's a win. Langford is turning out to be a more consistent scorer than Boo Buie. Boo Buie's his big thing is, and Purdue fans want to get all upset that, well, how do we let him go off for 31? That's just what some elite guards do when they're elite offensively. Like they have big blow up games and then they're down. Like you look at his last 6 games and 3 times he had 23 or more points and 3 times he was at 11 or less, including 2 single digit games. So, if Boo Buie can get consistent, if he can consistently give you, like he averages 18 a game, but he's never at 18, right? Like he's either going off or he's doing nothing. And, he needs to be consistent for them to have a chance to be successful in the Big Ten and make the tournament and make a run. He's got the talent. There's no question about that, but it's just, you talk about 4 from 14 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3, like, against DePaul, like not against Purdue, not against Ohio State, not against a top team. Like, you've got to be able to shoot well against a low team like that. Like if you can't get consistent, I would be worried as a Northwestern fan right now. Like it's cool to beat Purdue. It's great. Like, but everybody's going to get up for Purdue. It's like he used all his energy, all his XP points to play Purdue and go off. And then now he's got nothing left. So
spent all of his virtual currency on the power-ups for the Purdue game.
Right.
Now he's regressing with the fatigue. So Dakota, what were some of your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of a lot of the same stuff. Coming off of a bad Chicago State loss. It's going on the road to a DePaul team that one of their 2 wins is against Louisville, right? Mm-hmm. Is a win in that one. I didn't watch that game. I really should have. That's a sickos game if you've ever seen one. But nonetheless,
if you bet it, you're really a sicko.
Oh my god, if you bet that game, oh boy. But yeah, man, you want to talk about sleepy game? I mean, this was. Again, Purdue hangover. I mean, it's kind of like what I said with Ohio State. It's like, can you go off that Purdue game or that Chicago State game, and can you get back on track? Yes, they won. They scored 56. Buie 4 of 14, 1 of 7. I think the most worst things that you could see from Boo Buie's stat line is only 2 of 2 from the free throw line. You're telling me Boo Buie, who is all about getting to the rim, getting contact, making tough shots, is only going to the free throw line 2 times? I mean, Northwestern only went to the line 7 times as a team. They hit 6 of 7. But I mean, you look on the other side. I mean, DePaul kind of kept this in the game because they went 16 of 19 from the free throw line. Right. I watched back this game, and I think just the most of my notes was just, where's the fire? And it's like we said, everyone's going to get up for Purdue, but can you get up for DePaul on a sleepy, Sunday afternoon? And it just you don't see that, and I don't think they're going to be able to play games like this and kind of take that step a lot of us saw after that Purdue game. They were playing very well. Knock off number 1 Purdue at home, and everyone's kind of starting to look and going, they get ranked 25th, and everyone's kind of like, can they take that next step? But then they go and lose to Chicago State. Then you go to DePaul and play a sleepy, almost under 100 over total. This is just this team's got to get that fight back. I mean, obviously they won. Good job you didn't drop 2 in a row to pretty bad teams. All respect to DePaul and Chicago State. I mean, Chicago State beat them fair and square. But I mean, a 10-point road win over DePaul. You're going to take every true road game that you can get, but I might be kind of waxing a bit negative towards Northwestern. But I mean, I don't think you can have more of a regression than knocking out Purdue at home and then kind of having the next 2 games. And they got to get whatever mojo they need back. I don't know. Boo Buie needs to dream of Braden Smith opposite of him before every game, but he's got to get back to being that aggressive self and really taking initiative. But they won. I guess that's what I can give them that. I can give them that. Not everyone can say that. I don't know. Apparently, I'm pretty down on Northwestern as I kept ranting on there. But yeah, they got to get that figured out. I don't think you're going to be able to take this kind of play into Big Ten play. And as down as the Big Ten is, I don't think they would fare very well the way they're playing right now.
Well, and I think it's natural that because you guys are both obviously Purdue fans, when you see your team lose to somebody, you almost like inherently want to see that team do well, because then it like almost validates the loss. Like, oh, well, that's why, they're just a good team and we lost to a good team. But when you see your team lose to Northwestern, who goes out and drops one to Chicago State and then goes out and, only beats DePaul by 10, and it doesn't seem like they're able to get anything going, it's like, really? We lost to this team? This is who we lost to? I mean, I think it's natural to get into that to get into that phase. But I think you just have to look at it and say Northwestern did exactly what a team needs to do to beat Purdue, which is that they threw every single big man possible at Zach Edey, got him fouled out, and just made life for Zach Edey miserable. And Boo Buie just played out of his mind. They had a guy just really go off and play out of his mind. They're not going to be able to do that every single game. And you're exactly right, Russ. Boo Buie averages 18 points, but how often does he actually score 18? That's a false average. So, but I do want to point out one guy in this game and a little bit of trivia for you guys. So, or not trivia, I guess stats for you guys, because stats are brought to you by CBB Analytics. Who currently leads? He plays for Northwestern. Who currently leads the Big Ten in assist to turnover ratio? He plays for Northwestern. He's in the starting lineup.
Is it Langborg?
No, it's not Langborg. Langborg he didn't have any turnovers this game, so that would have been a good guess. Yeah. He is up there at 10th, I think. There's 3 guys for Northwestern in the top 10.
No.
It is Matthew Nicholson, the 7-footer.
I was looking at his stats. I was like, he had no turnovers and 1 assist, but I was like,
he averages 11.5 assists per turnover.
But is that how many assists he's had all year? Like he's had like 11.
Yeah, I want to up.
I think he's had 2 turnovers this year. Oh, I can only look at his average. So, 2 turnovers this year, 23 assists. So, yeah.
He had a turnover in game 1 and a turnover against Chicago State, and that's it.
Yeah. So,
not bad. Hey.
And you guys will be happy. Who's number 2?
That's got to
be Ethan Morton.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll say it's got to be
comes off the bench for Purdue.
He doesn't. I mean, I love Ethan Morton. I'm an Ethan Morton truther.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing he doesn't do a lot is bad turnovers. So
yeah.
So and I'll say that with like you were talking about offensive production and not having to be offensive liability, and defense is great, and I get that, but I feel like a lot of teams are moving towards that strategy of having a defensive shutdown guy, because you don't want your offensive threats getting fouled out. You don't want to have that happen, and you don't want them extending a lot of energy on defense, right? Like you want them using their energy on offense. So having those defensive specialists is, I think, huge now in today's college game. So I wouldn't get too much on coaches for putting that guy in there that only averages like 1 or 2 points a game in the starting lineup. Like there's a purpose for that.
But I love to get on coaches, Russ.
Getting on coaches is
we all do. That's what we do.
It's all about. Yeah, that's what we do. We yell at the coaches who.
I love to get on my random podcast and just yell about coaches. I don't know.
One of the funniest coaches shows last year with Painter, I don't know if you listened to this one, Dakota, was when some guy called in when we were ranked number 1.
Yeah, I remember.
And he's like, I'm so-and-so from this group tailgate, and I just want to say, it's a great job, you're number 1, but then lists off this laundry list of like, this is what I think we need to work on, though. And Painter was pretty gracious about it, but
he took it like a champ.
This dude's like making $5 million a year. He's number 1 in the country, and he's going to take notes from you and go, yeah, let me change this and change that. Yeah,
wasn't one of the things in that call about playing zone? I remember there was a big contingent last year who were like, Purdue needs to play a zone. Like, no, you don't want that. I promise.
You don't have to.
You don't.
One dude we did forget to mention for Northwestern though is Nick Martelli. 16 points in this game, 5 rebounds. Just great game for him. 6 of 10. Only 1 for 4 from behind the 3-point arc, but it was a great game from him. He really contributed a lot and helped them out. They really didn't get much from their bench other than him. I think they got 2 points from Preston, and that was it. Other than Martelli, that was really all they got from their bench. So look out for Northwestern. Who knows what they'll do week to week. 1 week they can beat the number 1 team in the nation. The next week they can lose to Chicago State. I'm afraid when we play them, and I'm also like kind of joyful when we play them. I don't know how it's going to work out. One of the two will happen. So we'll have to get the Wild Chat on here at some point to explain that to us. But thanks for Listen to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.